Good time of the day. Welcome to our webinar. Let me start again. Good time of the day at our webinar. Welcome, and please give me a score from 1 to 10 if you can hear me, if you can see me, if I'm too loud or too quiet. By the way, you can adjust the volume on your device. Okay, I see 10s all over the place. Thank you for that. So welcome to our presentation that has an interesting name, which is your blockchain identity for compliant regulated digital assets, MLCI business opportunity. Let me introduce myself and then introduce my co-host, together with whom we're going to speak today. My name is Tatiana Maksimuk. I'm the graduate of the Master Profi course. I'm the graduate of the Marathon MLCI 260, a speaker and an active partner in our ecosystem. My co-host is Kenzhebay Ibragimov, who has been with the company since 2019. He is the representative of the Top Leadership Council, international speaker, leader of the training, genius of finance, investment consultant, graduate master profi, and member of the Journals of the World for Peace Association. Also today we have invited guests, and we're going to tell you about them a little bit later and give you more details about them. And now I would like you to see the agenda for today. So today you will learn about the mission of the NEEW, the projects of the ecosystem, the Soulbound ID project and its implementation, and also the exclusive offer that we have for our community, and of course about the MLCI business opportunity. And now I'd like to give the floor to my co-host, Kenzhebay, to you. Please tell us what the NEEW mission means for you and what it gives our community. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Tatiana. I would like to congratulate everyone on today's religious holiday. But by the way, I think every day is a blessed day if we're able to speak to each other, especially now, thanks to the technology, to the internet and Zoom, we can do that. And thanks to the fact that we've mastered the internet, I was able to get acquainted with the NEEW program, which is the New Economic Evolution of the World, and the scale, the sheer scale of this project totally captivated me, because I think that we live in a world where we need to change. We need to change for the better. We need to give people an opportunity to earn money in the way they can, and for people not to be in want of anything or having to go to work, but give them the opportunity to be a co-owner, give them the opportunity to have the job of their dreams and to work not for money, but for pleasure. And our mission is to make sure that every person who hears us, who understands us, can become the co-owner of our global portfolio, become the stakeholder, shareholder. And many people didn't know about it, especially in our countries, that you can become a shareholder. And it captivated me. And since 2015, I've been promoting this ideology, both in our country and everyone who is willing to hear me. So the new economic evolution of the world is a topic that I can speak about ad infinitum. But to cut it short, this is an opportunity to become a participant and co-owner in a multitude of projects that we're going. And one of such projects is the topic of today's webinar. So basically, again, I reiterate, this is an opportunity for us to become co-owners in a plethora of projects. And in 2019, we were able to launch the crypto unit project. So it happened in 2019 on the 30th of March in Kazakhstan. This program was launched and it was quite successfully implemented, but then the world was shocked by several force majeure circumstances like the pandemic and then this war that came out of the blue for no reason. All of it slowed us down, and now we are looking for an opportunity to implement eventually our project and to make sure that our shares see the light of day. And I'm very glad that finally we found the real pros that can help us with that, help us bring our global project to the world level, and finally help us realize the globality of our project. And I would like our guests to tell you more about it, whom we met at one of the expos. They are real professionals, and I think they will tell you more about themselves. And I think it is better to give the word to them, the floor, right, Tatiana? Yes, correct. And it is my great pleasure to give the floor to Ross and Jean. And please take your pens and paper and write down everything they say, because we're going to listen to the co-founders and CEOs of Stobox and Soul ID project. Those are the people who help our community right now. And then there will be a Q&A session. And please, if you have questions, write them down. But before you start asking your question, please listen to what they have to say, because probably in the process of during their speech, you will get already the answer to your question. So please listen carefully and have a nice webinar. I don't know how to better put it. Guys, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for making this webinar. Thank you for the great introduction. And I hope we will try to give everything we can to make sure you guys understand. And first, before we start, I want to say that my name is Deyev. I'm CEO and co-founder at Stobox. We started our journey more than 4 years ago. And at that time, very few people understood what are the security tokens and what is the tokenization. And since then, we built a series of products. We put a lot of energy into the research and development, and we bring a lot of technologies into life. And today we're also going to share our recent complementary product, is the product of a digital identity. Because when we say shareholders and we say tokenization, the first thing that we have to keep in mind, this is not a crypto. It's actual physical shares, but they put on the blockchain. And this is what most people missing. They think that if it's on the blockchain, it means it's some part of a crypto token. No, it's not. It's a physical share which represents the ownership of the company. And when we deal with this, we have to deal not only with the blockchain technology, but with the crypto, with the securities regulations, which in every country there's a set of laws and a set of regulations that are required. So when we found out that the average community in crypto units has more than 150 countries of people who actually participate in the STO, that becomes a really interesting participation, and it's a great challenge that we are coping with. So I would like to move on by introducing my friend and our Chief Operating Officer and co-founder, Ross. Ross, please.
Yeah, thank you, Jean, for your introduction. Thank you, Tatiana. Thank you, Kenzhebay, for your great presentation and for the inviting. And it is a pleasure to be here. And please listen carefully. Me and Jean, we are happy to share the market insights and our vision and the recent news and the influence in the blockchain industry. And very important, it is how you can benefit from it and how you can catch the moment and get your profit, right? So we will share this information, and of course, you will be rewarded. My name is Ross Shem. I'm one of the co-founders of Stobox and SOULB ID, as well as a Chief Operating Officer. And as Jean mentioned, we started this journey more than 4 years ago. Next slide, please. Yep. So at this moment, we did much more than we speak. And usually it is our problem because we prefer to work besides to speak. That's why for the last 5 years, we currently signed more than 60 clients that are doing a tokenization with us, including 3 multi-billion companies from USA, from Qatar, from Canada, and around the world. And of course, one of our clients, it is Crypto Unit and Evorich security token, right? STO. And when I met Mila a few months ago in Sigma ABC Summit Dubai, where Stobox participated as an exhibitor, we recognized that the vision of Crypto Unit to having a one security token backed by the Global Portfolio Fund, it is a big opportunity, right? And it is also a big challenge. That's why we're currently assisting and providing our technology from Stobox, right, in respect of STO for Crypto Unit security token that will be released soon. And before explaining about the Soulbound IDs, right, and about SOULB ID project, you need to understand that we are not a new on the market. SOULB ID, it is a complementary and a sub-product from Stobox, right, that is already 4 years on the market. And at this moment, we have more than 4 blockchain products. It is DS Dashboard and DS Dashboard Pro. It is the solutions for the primary issuance for security tokens, right? And Crypto Unit STO will be conducted through the DS Dashboard, Digital Securities Dashboard, that will hold Crypto Unit company, right? And also we have a DS Swap product. It is a secondary market for security tokens. And by the way, it is one of the first decentralized venues, decentralized exchange optimized for security tokens, DS Swap, Digital Security Swap, and also a SOULB ID project, the decentralized identity that we're currently launching inside our ecosystem, because we recognize and we understand that without SOULB ID, we cannot scale, right, the tokenization industry, and it is very necessary product in our ecosystem. And among the launching the DS Swap product a few months ago, we conducted one of the first secondary market using Binance Smart Chain on decentralized form. And it was a historical event for us. So we were the first who conduct a secondary market of security token of a private company, of a shares, right, in form of blockchain on the decentralized exchange DS Swap that we released. And also we are recognized by many awards. For example, Startup of the Year by the recognized media Hacker Noon, like Best Tokenization Startup of the Year, right, from US, because Stobox company incorporated in US, it is our main company, right, this US-based company. And also Asset Tokenization of the Year from the 2019, from the Malta ABC Summit, one of the biggest blockchain conference, and we were rewarded like Best Asset Tokenization of the Year. And also we were very closely working with regulators around the world. For example, we issued a book in collaboration with Malta Digital Innovation Authority, MDAA, about how to make the STO properly. So we're working with regulators, as well as we're participating in a roundtable currently with Dubai and United Arab Emirates government about their implementation of security tokens law in United Arab Emirates and in Dubai, right? And usually and always I see here in the chat and before, right, in our last webinars, the question about the community of SOULB and community of Stobox. As I mentioned, SOULB, it is a sub-product and project of Stobox. And in Stobox, we have the biggest YouTube channel in the world in tokenization industry. #1 YouTube channel. You can go to the YouTube, you can text Stobox, and see our YouTube channel with more than 300 videos conducted by me, Jean, and our partner Boris. And we conducted many interviews with the people around the world. For example, with head of blockchain in London Stock Exchange Group. For example, with ex-vice president of NASDAQ exchange, and with ex-legal counsel of SEC, Security and Exchange Commission in USA. So we have conducted interviews with many recognized and famous guests on our YouTube channel. So please go and check it out. Also, we have one of the biggest Twitter account in tokenization industry and one of the biggest blog that is founded and followed by the founders. So we're providing their unique information that we share with our business community, Jean, I, and Boris, right, that you can find on our blog. And also, by the way, a few days ago, Stobox was recognized like the best analytical provider of the year based by the Tokenizer Media. It is a niche media in tokenization industry, top 3 media, right? And based on their annual report, our articles are top 1 and top 2, the most famous publications of the year. And they recognized us with this award. So it is a big pleasure for us, and it is great to see our influence to tokenization industry through our perfect knowledge that we accumulated and currently sharing with all of the participants. Next slide, please. And here we see partners, because partners, it is very important part of every project, right? And you can see that we have a KYC, KYB, and KYT partners. It is know your customer, yes, for checking the KYC, know your business for checking the business, and know your transaction to check transactions on the blockchain. And SUMSUP will do the KYC for Stobox. And by the way, SUMSUP working with the Binance, and it is top 2 KYC providers worldwide that supports and believe in Soulbound ID and in Stobox as well. I comply, they do KYB for Microsoft, right? And they will do also KYB for our clients in SOULB ID project. And also Crystal, it is also top 2 providers in KYT services recognized by many companies. So we have a very strong partners, right? And compliant and recognized partners that are supporting and will help us with our technical implementation of our project. And also we have a technical partners, right? For example, Fireblocks, it is one of the best and famous custody solution in the world. ScienceSoft, that do audits for NASA, for Nestle company, for IBM, and they auditing our products as well. Certic, with whom we are doing their audit of our smart contracts, set of smart contracts in our ecosystem. And Cody, it is our partner of the development of our ecosystem. And as I mentioned, we are very actively contributing to the industry and sharing our perfect knowledge. For example, we're working and we issued already the articles on Cointelegraph. It is the biggest crypto media, Bitcoin.com, Blockchain News, NTD, it is US television, the Tokenist, Securities.io, HackerNoon, Startup Info, and many others medias supporting us, and we providing for them the professional content about tokenization. And also we are the members of Crypto Valley Association. It is one of the biggest blockchain communities in Europe, right? And GDF, Global Digital Finance Association in US. And we have our blockchain partners, right? It is Algorand, it is Elrond, and it is Metis blockchain that is founded by Vitalik Buterin's mom that's supporting our project as well. So it is our partners ecosystem, and we're very excited to work with them. And for us, it is a big pleasure that we have such support and can easily implement our ideas and our vision. Next slide, please. And I'm passing my microphone to the Jean. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ross. So before we move on into the details of the Soulbound IDs, let us first of all define, so what is that new word, soulbound, why it's soul and where it's bound? So if you look at the blockchain, and I'm sure most of you guys are aware of what is a blockchain. Basically, it's a big database. And every user is given a generated address on the blockchain. And anything that you can create on the blockchain can be represented as a token. You can mint token, you can send token, you can burn token. But all these addresses are anonymous. Nobody knows whose specific address belongs to. And this is one of the biggest problems with crypto, because since the beginning of the Bitcoin white paper, all the concept of a crypto was built on anonymity. And if you follow this market, you see all these bumps and dumps. You see a lot of scams. You see a lot of rug pulls. You see a lot of turmoil in this landscape, in this market. But why? Because it's anonymous. So we have this concept, and at the same time, we bridge it to the concept of tokenization. And again, as I said in the beginning, what is a tokenization? It's the process of putting real world assets like securities, like shares, which cannot be anonymous. So the idea of Soulbound is to basically know whose address is. And then based on the identities which can be put on these addresses of individuals, corporates, individuals, different investors, we can create a safe environment where the security tokens can exist. They can be transferred, they can be created, minted, burned, but not in an anonymous way, in a very understandable and regulated way, the way as that comply with international laws and regulations of securities. So this is the main idea. But I will tell you something more, is that not only, next slide, please, is not only the identities that can be stored, you can store other personal information. I will tell this a bit later, but where are these soulbounds can be used? So first of all, it's a blockchain product, obviously, because it's a blockchain-based identity. So you can say, in my product, in my ecosystem, I would like to see only validated people. Think of this as the KYC on the Binance. You go to the Binance, you go to the Gate.io, you go to any crypto exchange, and you pass KYC. Why? Because they comply. They don't allow you enter unless you're not verified. But on the blockchain, on the pure blockchain, it wasn't the case. So we're introducing compliance to the whole blockchain space. The second point is the DeFi, and I'm sure most of you heard of this DeFi two words, which stand for distributed decentralized finance. And we say finance, we also remember your bank. You can't come up to your bank and open a bank account without a passport. Why? Because it's a compliant procedure. So this Soulbound token, Soulbound IDs, think of this as a passport. It's a passport on a blockchain that will allow you, first of all, to enter regulated environments like security tokens. Secondly, it will allow financial operations in a compliant way. I will tell more about regulations later on this slide, on the next slide. But the last but not the least is that Soulbounds can be used for creating a decentralized communities. We all are using Facebook, Twitters, but these are centralized communities. And obviously somebody has that big power. Somebody knows how we manage our relationship, and they sell data. This is what the biggest companies do. They always sell data and they make profit out of it. But on the blockchain, if we build, it's not about our ambition, but we provide the technology for other people to develop. So, and we already see how decentralized social networks emerge. So think of this as the core, as the base for creating a decentralized communities, which is a very important. And we also already implemented Stobox DAO, and DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organizations. This is a way people can vote, but nobody knows how they're going to vote. It's a pure voting made on the basis of their identities, and it's all pure blockchain regulated. So there's no invisible hand trying to manipulate the data. Is as pure as it is. Next slide, please. Yes. So what are potentials of the Soulbounds? And again, we are starting with identities because for us, it's a core. It's the core beginning. We can't scale security token business. We can't scale tokenization unless we verify every single address that participates in the security token offering. And the Evorich community is huge. And we also have a set of other huge communities that somehow should be standardized in the form of identity. And this is another reason why we bring it at this special momentum, because nobody wants to check compliance for the hundreds of thousands of people. This is why we devote this to our, as Ross mentioned, our KYC partners and the KYB partners. So they check identities, and we make sure the addresses of those people have this records that will be able to, to set up the tokenization logic on top of it. So, but it's not only the identities. Think of that. You can have your credit, any verification minted with your blockchain address. Nobody, because you hold the private key, nobody can access this information unless you say so. Nobody can scan this information. Nobody can steal this information because you're the holder of that, only you can unlock it. Think of this as a memberships, academics, even medical history. I will give an example from the academics. We all know that there's, in many countries you can buy a diploma. In many countries you can take that diploma, translate it, and create an image of yourself. But what if those diplomas migrate to a blockchain in a decentralized way, and only university, as a minter, as an issuer, will be able to create these special academics tokens, which will absolutely prove that you have been visiting this class and you have that type of knowledge. It's not just a paper. So the main idea is to move from the paper, from the traditional legacy medium of exchanging information, to the more sophisticated and modern way of storing information, which is a blockchain. And if you can think of a Bitcoin, it's a database that has a trillion almost valuation with a zero system administrator, which has never been hacked. How more proof of the resiliency you can have of this database is nobody can steal anyone's Bitcoin. So the same, if you create an entry or a word based on a ledger, it's up to the top standards of the security. Let's move to the next slide, please.
Right. And I will add some points. So to sum up, we're building the Soulbound ID, and Soulbound ID, it is your decentralized identity. It's like your decentralized passport, right? Where you pass KYC one time and then can use Stobox products, participate in the STO of Evorich. In the future, it will be supported by any blockchain-based products by Crypto Unit and Evorich products, right? So it is the entry for the STO. It is your compliant entry to the STO that you need to have anyway. all of their V crew, token holders, shareholders that want to participate in the STO of crypto unit need to have the Soulbound ID to enter the system and to participate. And also, very important to mention that what Jim mentioned, right, about the industries, about their implementation, it is not a concept, it is reality that we are building and that we build. It is what I mentioned in the beginning, right? Because we prefer to work and to build the products, and everybody thinking about what would have happened if I had known about Bitcoin in 2012, for example, right? A few years ago, because Soulbound tokens as a class, it is a new trend of crypto. Vitalik Buterin speaking about the Soulbound tokens. Binance, it is already tested this technology inside their products, right? It is not a competitors to SOULB ID, but they're using Soulbound technology inside their products to engage community. So it is here, right? And 99.9% of all of the people around the world don't understand what's going on, right? That's why you are currently on this webinar, and that's why you currently have the chance to hear their important information about their industry development. And Soulbound ID, it is new trend in crypto, like NFTs, right? Like IDOs previously. So it is very important for you to understand. And I think we are covering and we are capturing this moment. Gene, please.
Yes, guys, just a couple of minutes. Despite of the bull market and the bear markets and the speculations on the crypto market and the regulations of the market, we see that the number of transactions growing. The adoption of the blockchain is growing. More and more companies are adopting this for the payments. There's a lot of developments going under the hood, which most people don't see because they look just at the graphs of the Ethereum, the Bitcoin, and they speculate. The speculation is only one part of this industry. The other part is growing every day in terms of transactions, adoption, and so on. So think of this as well. Next slide, please. Yeah, and I'm sure you've heard recently issues about a number of centralized exchanges and bankrupts and problems with DeFi, and again, decentralized finance. Before, it hasn't been regulated because regulators usually take time, and it's quite an inertic process. But now, with these multi-billion-dollar scams that are going on the market, the regulations there's not the question of if, it's the question of when. And we're absolutely sure on this. US is bringing regulations on the DeFi. Europe has already brought regulations on DeFi. You know that in Europe, if you're a European passport holder, and if you trade more than 1,000 euros on a decentralized exchange already has to know who you are. Nobody has this technology yet, which means that Uniswap, PancakeSwap, and all these different swaps, they are already at the edge of being regulatory scammed. So regulations are here. They are just being enforced. We'll see it within next year following, and so on. And because we started with the tokenization, because we started with the securities, we adopted this concept from the day one. We said, for us, right, it's not impossible. It's impossible to build something unless it's compliant. So it appeared to be that we made the right decision 4 years ago. Yes, Ross, please.
Right, exactly. we were ready from the day one because we are very deeply engaged in the regulation and the tokenization, because it is a different regulations of crypto and of securities, right? And securities, it is more and more complicated and more strict in respect of regulation. And you're perfectly right. Guys, check your news feed from Davos. Everybody currently speaking about the regulation, about the FTX crash, about the crashes of big companies to protect the investors. And it is a fact, right? We can speak about it or we can ignore. It doesn't matter. It is a fact, right? That's why you need to have the Soulbound ID, and that's why we create in this project in our ecosystem to have the market fit and to provide the opportunity for the investors to be compliant and for the issuers and for the companies like Uniswap, like OneInch, for every decentralized protocol and for any decentralized bridge to fulfill the regulation. Because as Jin mentioned, they are currently playing in a different game, and they will be very soon regulated. Because in European zone, it is already legal enforcement and legal implementation of their laws, where every transaction above 1,000 euro need to be regulated. It is already here. It is only the question of time when regulator will be able to control it, right? Because laws are here. Now is questions about the control. And Soulbound ID, it is a solution for the companies and for the investors. And in Europe, they are already created the AMLA regulator. It is a global AML regulator in European zone that will control and regulate all crypto and all DeFi industry. And it is also already here. It is not a concept, it is a reality, right? So what I want to say that regulation is here, and every issuer and every investors need to be regulated. That's why we're providing a decentralized ID to fulfill their regulation. And it is very important because it is not a joke.
Thank you. Let's move to the next slide, please. Yeah, so it says with the started of the development of compliant DeFi, I think we should rephrase it. We have been working and we will be working on the development of compliant DeFi because it's a new market. We all know big banks, we all know big exchanges, but most of us don't know decentralized banks, and we will. So and in order for that to happen, the compliant DeFi has to be a base for that. Next slide, please. Okay, guys, so let me tell you more on how do we fraction this, because people may be different and the levels of compliance are different. So it may look complicated, but we try to be as simple as possible. Look, there are two types of personal IDs, P1 and P+. The two types of corporates, C and C+. What is the personal ID? Basically, you pass the KYC, the standard procedure, and then you have a limit on chain, which means that you're allowed to buy, to sell within a limit of $25,000. Why is that? Because it's a national compliance for AML. If you want to increase your limit, you have to provide additional documents to some sub. It's not to us. We're not watching any documents. We don't see the documents. It's some sub, our providers who are regulated and compliant to do so. We're not compliant to watch any documents. When it's the same with the bank. If you want to increase your limit, if you want to have a bigger account, probably they ask you for a proof of residency and where your money comes from to avoid dirty money, inside their business. So the same with us, P and P+. There's also investors, can be companies. Company invest into companies, not only people. And this is exactly why we have C and C+. C+ also stands for a company that can create a security token, because not every company can be compliant to issue securities. Some companies are compliant to become investors, but not every company is compliant to issue securities. And because we try to automate and we build automated technology, for us, C+ is identity that would allow creation of tokens. So, but now what we're talking about is just first two. So if you are participating in any STO on the Stobox platform, and WCRU and Evorich are the part, and they have engaged us and our technologies to fulfill their requirements for the STO. And in order for that to happen, you just need to have your personal identity. And if you're an investor of a bigger scale, you'll just have to provide additional documents, increase your limits, and everything will be, again, automatic. So I would try to make this as easy as possible to digest that. But we will speak more, and you will find more information on this once we release. The release is planned for the February of the first token, and then we gradually introduce all of the identities into our ecosystem. Ross, if you have...
Next slide, please.
Next slide.
It was very clear.
Okay, and I have already mentioned this, but let me also come back and say, what are the benefits of investors? Why? So first of all is the on-chain validation. You don't have to pass KYC every time you enter into DeFi product. It's not like you come to the bank A, you give them passports and so on, then you come to the bank B and you do the same procedure, bank C. So we standardize. So you get your identity first, and then wherever we build our ecosystem, and there's a lot of partners, there's a lot of decentralized entities that we're already cooperating, you will have one identity to move around different products and different services on the blockchain. Permissioned access to communities. That's what already mentioned. If you have this ID, you may create, for example, you can create your own group and say only leaders with that type of identity can chat between each other. So it's not a Telegram, but it's it's on the blockchain, and you can create this type of logic. This is in our roadmap, and we say what can be done in the future. But again, we're trying to close this identity part as soon as possible. Access to regulated environments. I think that we have covered this point already. And the social rankings. Look, especially for big communities, the ranking, or maybe if we may say referral systems, or can be based on the activities on chain. So if your address is active, you buy tokens, you sell tokens, you create some value. You're a trader, for example, you're trading this stuff. So a blockchain can understand the volume, and your ranking in the system may be higher than, for example, of a person who has a less activity. So it's not because somebody gave you that, assigned you being a king, but you are being a king because you're a king, because you're doing this and you can't cheat the system. Remember what I said, you can't cheat the blockchain. It's hashed, it's processed. So in this case, any social ranking can be pure without any additional exhaustments, any additional, leverage by people who can help you and so on. So, and that's the purity of data. And this is where also something we stand for. Next slide, please. Yes, I will take a minute and move Mike to Ross. We are, and again, because we do tokenization, we play with a different type of assets, and this is our playground. So we not only now introduce a community token that we're talking in, within the packages, which is used as the medium of exchange, as eternal money to pay for these identities, but we also will have a second token, which is a security token, and we will launch it later in Q2, Q3 this year. But we're not going to speak about it now because we focus on the community token. But again, we will introduce two. So the one part is the utility community token for the payments and for generating utility revenues, and the other is the share of the Soulbound company, and we will be planning to give away 50% of the company value, of the company's shareholding value, to the community who will hold community token once we start the security token round STO later this year. Please, Ross.
Right, exactly. So currently we are running the round for SOULB community token. It is a payment token, right? But just for your understanding and to see the global picture, we have a plans in a few months, right, to launch our own security token of the SOULB ID project. So in the future, you will be able to convert your SOULB community token into their security token of SOULB ID, but it will be done in the future. Next slide, please. Right. So what you currently see, you see the standard information of the token parameters, right? It is standard information for every project about their token details. What is important that you can see that their Soulbound IDs will be minted on a different blockchains, and it will be the AVM compatible blockchains. For example, Binance Smart Chain, for example, Ethereum, for example, Polygon Matic, right? For example, Avalanche and others. And currently we're running the private sale phase 1 with the lowest price ever, right? 0.01. And it is perfectly will be compliant according to their international regulation. And also about the utilities. So what be the usage? What will be the utilities of the token? First of all, SOULB ID community token will be as a payment token to convert, right, your SOULB's community tokens into your IDs. Also, your ID will be valid and will be supported by all of the Stobox products. It is DS Dashboard, DS Dashboard Pro, DS Swap, and many others that we are building. And of course, SOULB ID will be supported by any issued decentralized blockchain products by crypto unit community or by Evorich community. It will be supported as well. And after their launching, right, and main launch of the product, you will be able to stake, to farm, and to collect the rewards by holding the Soulbound IDs. And also, and it is very important, that we expecting a DAO governance for our community token. So all of the big holders of SOULB community token, payment token, will be able to influence to our decision and to the project development, right? And also for the biggest holders of SOULB token, you will get their unique and special investment limits allocation for our projects. Because as I mentioned, we have more than 60 clients, and crypto unit, it is one of them. But we also have multi-billion companies and real estate companies that launching STO with us, and you will be able to join them with their special terms. Next slide, please.
Ross, 1 second. You know that I have a very scarce time, and I would like to share very important information before you move on to this. Look, guys, it's all about demand and supply. And the demand for the token, think of this, how many people will be adopting crypto, and how many existing crypto users will adopt regulations. Maybe not all of them will have SOULB, but we plan to have a good market share of the whole crypto community worldwide using SOULB. So the demand for SOULB is rising. The supply of SOULB is not going to be more than we mint. We create by smart contract the limited amounts, the limited number of utility tokens that will be utilized within the identity, as Ross said, that will be taken out of the circulation supply, what is called. Some of them will be coming back into the ecosystem. Some of them will be burned, but definitely they're not going to be more than we create in the beginning. And when we have a diminishing supply, every quarter we will have less tokens on the market and less tokens that we have, and we'll have more demand on the token. By looking at this two graph, we kind of may oversee what will happen to the price of that. So the price of identities remain the same, but the amount of tokens that people are gonna pay for those identity will become smaller and smaller. So today, for example, you mint an identity for 100 SOULB tokens. Tomorrow, you will mint for 10. So more demand and less supply, there'll be more pressure on the price. Yes, please, Ross.
Yes, thank you, Jim. As you can see, it is also on the left side a standard token information about the token sale allocation, about our reserves, about the marketing, liquidity, and DeFi activities. And on the right side, you see the sales round schedule, right? So currently, we're running their private sale phase 1, and we're expecting to close this round very soon. And once we will close the first phase, we will open the second, but you can see that the price will be completely different. It will be in 50% higher than now. So now we have the lowest and the best terms ever. Why? Because it is just our first private sale round. And of course, we are looking to benefit our first backers. And once we will close the first phase, the second will open their public round. What does it mean? It means the IEO or IDO on other exchanges with, of course, a higher price, right, of 0.025 cents per token. Next slide, please. Yes, it is the people that are involved in the project, and 3 founders, Deyev, Shem, it is me, and our partner Boris Pikalov, who is caring about all of our deliveries of our clients that assist with their execution of the STOs for our clients that are in our pipeline. And of course, Boris is also our YouTube rockstar, so follow Stobox YouTube to see what we are doing and the insights about the tokenization. And as I mentioned, Samsung, iCompliant, and Cody are our partners. And you may ask me a question, Ross, if you have such partners as, for example, Samsung that do KYC for Binance, or iComply that do KYB for Microsoft, why you started your journey and your first sale round by CoinSet and Crypto Unit platform? And I will answer this question. Because when I met Mila at Sigma ABC, right, we shared our vision about the scaling of our products and scaling of Stobox by the project of SOULB ID. And we recognized why not to launch this sale by CoinSet platform with Mila. Why? Because anyway, all the VC users will be using our platform that we're providing for the crypto unit, because we are tech providers, Stobox. We are providing our solution, digital securities dashboard for crypto unit to launch their STO, right? So anyway, we will be using our products. And of course, as a company, as a Stobox, as a SOULB ID, we are interested to provide to you the opportunity for the people who will be used our products. That's why it is perfectly fits our vision that we agreed with Mila and Armand and Crypto Unit and Evorich, because we want to benefit our users, not their, right, not the users of third-party platforms, but our users that will anyway use our platform during their STO of Crypto Unit. Next slide, please. Yep.
Yes,
it is.
and sorry, Ross. Sorry, Ross, guys, I have to, you know that I have an urgent meeting. I have to move on, unfortunately, and leave Ross for the session of questions and answers. But our big target was to reach 1 million Soulbound ID users by the end of 2025. But now with the, speaking with the community leaders and now seeing how, how at what extent the interest that you guys show for us, and we show for Stobox, and we're conducting webinars, we think that number may be reached prior to the 2025, and we hope so. But again, 1 million verified users, it's a great purchasing power. It's a great. Have you ever thought that there could be a private company with 1 million of investors? Think of this like, this way. So yeah, history doesn't know these examples, and we're just making it. And it's actually, it's a great challenge. At the same time, it's great fun. And thank you very much for your support. Ross and our colleagues, thank you for, unfortunately, I have to rush. I will leave you, my friend, here. And I will see you all soon.
Yes, thank you, Jean. Thank you for your insight. You did your job. You did your job great.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you very much, Jean. And of course, we'll see you very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All the best, gents.
Right. And we are moving forward. Right. 1 million of Soulbound IDs verified and minted. It is our pessimistic digits, because we are trying to be as pessimistic as we can, right, to be honest. But you understand that this digit and this amount of people through the Evorich, through the crypto unit could be reached in a weeks, right? And we hope so. Next slide, please. So sell distribution in the packages. So it is answering the question how and where to buy and what are the terms. And it is what I mentioned from the beginning, right? That more tokens you will buy, more bonuses and more profit you will make. And according to the table that you currently see, for example, for the biggest package, for the $15,000, you will get 100% of bonuses. So currently, in effect, right, you have the opportunity to participate in the round with the bonuses that you can get for up to 100%. More packages and more tokens you buy, more profit you can make. And based on the table, we have a very democratic terms that you can start from $10 and buy 15,000. And by the way, 50,000 packages are currently sold out. So people are already catch this moment, and we have a sold out of the biggest package that we are providing. And just imagine how many people living around the world, how many people using the blockchain technology, right, that need to have the passport in the blockchain to be compliant. Like a travel. Currently, you cannot travel without a passport. You don't have passport, you stay at home, right? If you want to open a bank account, you need to have a passport. Why? Because you need to be compliant, because you're dealing with the financial authorities, right? The same will be in blockchain with their platforms, like I mentioned, like Uniswap, like PancakeSwap, like OneInch. It will be regulated, and you need to have a passport to use a platform and to be verified. And maybe it is a new information for you, but it is old information for me, because regulation is here, it is done. It is just matter of time. And just imagine how many people are around the world who need to have their identities to verify the users and to be compliant, right? And I'm sure that all of the people who are not currently on this webinar, and it is 99.999% all of these people, cannot capture this moment. But you can, and you can make benefits on it, and then to sell, for example, SOULB ID for all of these people who don't understand what's going on, but you will understand, right? Next slide, please. Right, so it is the roadmap of our project. So as Jim mentioned, we are already tested and we already have their alpha release of their SOULB ID, right? And it is already implemented, already live, already executed in a Stobox DAO, and we tested our products, and we currently finalizing the UX, UI, product presentation, right? And we are planning to release in the first quarter of 2023 of their upcoming year, right? Their second phase of our sale once we've finished the first phase, right? And their first release of the Soulbound ID. And also we are planning to set up the Soulbound ID DAO that I mentioned before, right? As a benefits for investors, and you will have the influence to the project development and project decision if you are holding a big amount of SOULB ID. And in Q2, we are planning to launch our own security token of the Soulbound ID project, right? And also we are planning to release their business identities, Web3 identities that will be available for the common businesses to pass the KYC and to get their Soulbound ID, not for the persons, not for the common people as currently, right, but for the businesses. And for the Q4, we're planning to release the main beta release, and I will tell you now very special information. We are not mentioning this information in other webinars, but it is what we already discussed with Mila and Armand, right? For all of their SOULB IDs holders, we will be able to launch their tokenization of yourself, tokenization of time, and it is perfectly fits the vision of their Evorich and crypto unit. So all of the influencers, all of the leaders, after passing and getting the Soulbound ID, will be able to launch through our product their own security token. Imagine you are the artist that are living in India, right? And you're looking to raise $100 to move to California to do your business and to upgrade yourself. You can tokenize yourself, issue your own security token in a compliant way, and attract money, right, for your new life decision, and you will give, for example, 10% of all of your earnings lifetime during your life. And it is very powerful concept about the SOULB ID and about tokenization, because it is a tokenization of people and all the influencers. And imagine how powerful it could be. Next slide, please. Right, so I have finished my presentation, and the next part it is by Tatiana, right? And but I'm also very happy to answer any questions that you have. And by the way, I'm already replied in a text form in their chat widget the questions from the community, and one of them was, for example, if I will buy now, if I will purchase the Soulbound community token, right, will be able to transfer to my friends, for example, to get them and to convert them to the IDs. And of course, you can. The answer is yes. You can buy the SOULB ID tokens that you will be able, after the lockup period, to convert to the identities. And of course, if you will buy more tokens, you will be able to send for your friends, for your family, and they will have the possibility to convert tokens into the identity. And I will kindly ask Tatiana and Kenzhebay to moderate the questions, and I'm very happy to answer.
Well, yes, thank you very much, Ross. And you already answered the question that I personally wanted to ask. So if the family is registered in our community, does everyone in that family have to buy the tokens? So in other words, no, they don't. One family member can buy like a fair share of those tokens and then distribute them along the family, right? Yeah. Perfect. Then, dear partners, yeah, please write your questions in the chat. We will gladly read them out, and Ross will answer them.
My private message is the question about their dates of the first and deadlines of the first sale phase, right? So currently, all of the packages are available in the CoinSet platform where we're running our sales, right? And they will be available till their 15th of their February, so less than in a month.
Тут есть вопрос.
Okay, we have a question here about the inheritance. Can they be inherited? Can we pass over the tokens after our demise?
Could you repeat the question, please? Because it was some network problems.
Yeah, sure. So there was a question in the chat. Can the tokens be passed on as part of the inheritance?
Compliance procedure, and we already expected in our products. For example, that is related to the community token or it is related to the STO. For example, let's imagine somebody owns the security tokens, right? But this person will die. What happens with the security tokens? Because it's a capital, right? It is the securities of the people, right? Of the person. And we have technically and legal ability to transfer this token after it's happened, right, to the wife or to the sons, according to the regulation of the country of the issuer where STO will be conducted.
Благодарю.
Thank you very much. We have another question here, whether, I don't know whether I understand it or not, but like transfer, is it possible like immediately after the unfreezing or right away?
Okay, I got the question. So according to our sales schedule, you see the lockup periods, right? For example, that for their first sale round, it is 12 months. For their second sale, it is 6 months. And for the private sale without any lockup periods. And why we do so? Because it is fair.
Public sales, right? Not private.
Right. Because it is fair to the investors. If you buying with the best terms, with the best price, their community tokens, right, with the lowest price ever, you will have a 12 months period of lockup to not have and not to face their selling pressure on the tokens, right? If you will buy on the second stage, because on the second stage, our price for community token will be in 50% higher, right? Because you buy in a different price, much higher price, you will have a 6 months lockup period. And if you will buy on the private sale, you will not have
public sale,
periods.
Ross, public sale. The last stage is public sale.
Public sale, right. If you buy on the public sale, you will not have any lockup periods. Why? Because you will buy in for X3 from the starting price. So you will buy in 3 times much higher the value of the token that it was in the beginning. So we have a schedule of lockup periods, and answering the questions, if you bought and if you participate in the first sale round, you will have a 12 months lockup period, and after this you will be able to interact with your tokens after the lockup period.
And we had another follow-up questions. How can we transfer our frozen tokens to the members of family?
It will be available after the lockup periods. All of the people who will participate in the 2 sales rounds, the first sales round and the second, will be able to get their ID as soon as possible, as soon as we will release the product. For any other transferring between the wallets, for friends and for others, it will be available later than after the lockup period, because you are catching this moment and we benefit all of their users through your email and through your data to identify you, right, their SOULB ID. For all of other activities, it will be done after the product release and after the lockup period.
Okay, we have another question related to children, I guess. Starting from what age you can use Soulbound ID, and what should children do who have accounts in our community?
Your question, the SOULB IDs, right? And we're talking about the Soulbound IDs from the angle of the investments, right? And we're talking about the investments to the STOs, to the securities. That's why SOULB ID can get any person above 18 years old, because it is according to the regulation of the market. If you're older than 18 years old, you can participate in your in the offerings, in the investment offerings, any investment offerings, and also it is related to the STO. The question regarding the children's and regarding their platforms nuances, I cannot answer this question because I'm not the CoinSet representative and I don't understand how their platforms works.
Хорошо, благодарю.
Okay, thank you. They'll just have to wait until they become of age, I guess. So I have a question. I have several accounts. So will it be sufficient for me to buy those tokens in one back office, in one tab, and then can I don't know, provide for all other back offices?
If you have a different cabinet, for you, it is more than enough to buy their Soulbound ID in any of them, right? To be able to then to get your tokens and to convert to decentralized identity, the decentralized passport that we will assign to you. So to buy in one platform cabinet, it will be enough.
Скажи, пожалуйста, Рос.
Okay, so please tell us, Ross, why do we need the lockup in caps? Like, why should you wait for a year, then half a year at stage 2? So could you please give more detail why?
Yeah, no problem. It is what I mentioned right on the last question about the lockup period schedule. It is not a new bicycle, right? And it is not something that we created unique. It is a common logic, and it calls the tokenomics, right? Tokenomics, it is the economical model of the project and of the token. And according to their logic, if you provide and if you not make any lockup periods, you will have a big pressure, selling pressure of the token from the first date of listing. And that's what I'm sure that you saw many times in new projects that are launching. You see one green candle on the graph, and then you see the red in the down of the graph, right? And it looks like a scam. Why? Because it is a big selling pressure from the community that bought with the most attractive price. And it is a global logical how tokens and how digit works. That's why I can repeat once again, for all of the people who participating with the best price, right, and with the bonuses up to 100%, we allocating their lockup period for 12 months. For all of the people who will participate later then with much different price that will much higher from the first phase, these people will have a 6 months lockup period. Why? Because they will have less tokens and less bonuses, right? And that's what allow us as a project to be listed on the exchanges, and in the day of listing to not see all of the red candles down, and in this case project can disappear, right? Because all of the people will trying to sell, and we will face a big pressure on it.
So let's go back to the question of inheritance. So will it be reflected in the back office?
You mean their lockup periods?
No. Remember, we had a question about the inheritance, whether tokens can be inherited or passed on as part of the inheritance. But will it be reflected, seen in the back office? Or again, maybe this is kind of a lengthy process.
In cabinet of what platform?
I guess CoinSet.
You have different platforms. That's why I cannot answer this question, because I'm not responsible for your platforms. I know that will be available in our platform.
Хорошо. Вопрос.
Okay, then another question. Those two tokens, should we buy them like as a mandatory process, or let me try to understand what it means. Okay, should we buy those tokens like necessarily?
I think you meaning their utility of SOULB ID and security of SOULB ID, right? And I cannot make decision for yourself, but if you would like to participate in their STO of Evorich and crypto unit, yes, you need to have their Soulbound ID, and it means that you need to have the Soulbound tokens to convert them into the IDs to be able to participate in the STO of Evorich and crypto unit, because it depends on the issuer, not on us. We are the technical provider. And of course, you need to have the Soulbound ID and you need to have a Soulbound tokens to be able to participate in others offerings of Stobox of 60 clients that I mentioned. Security token that will be released in a few months, it is also not, it is also upon your decision. So once we will release in a few months the security token, you will have a choice to convert your utilities to securities and to become the official shareholder of our company, right? Or to leave it as it is.
Вопрос следующий.
Okay, another question is, when and where, on what blockchain will we be able to see our assets?
It will be done after their lockup periods that you have in your CoinSet wallet, right, in your CoinSet platform, and their Soulbound ID after that will be minted on a blockchain that you will select. Because as I mentioned, we will support many of EVM compatible. It is Ethereum, it is Binance, it is Polygon Matic, it is Avalanche. And after the lockup period, you will be able to choose the network where you want the tokens to be minted, right? And you will see then later then the IDs on those blockchains.
Такой вопрос, Рос.
Okay, so another question is, Ross, so someone told someone that without that token, we won't be able to make any transactions with WCRU. Is that true?
Без этого
Okay, without this token, will we be able or won't we be able to make any transactions with the WCRU? What do you mean region?
такой вопрос.
Because, yes, it depends on the region.
Это вопрос из Казахстана.
So basically, we have people from Kazakhstan
Yes,
here.
Kazakhstan will be able to get the Soulbound ID to purchase the Soulbound tokens that is currently available in CoinSet, and after that to receive their Soulbound ID and to participate in the STO of Evorich and of crypto unit STO, right? It will be available for the Kazakhstan citizenship.
Благодарю.
Okay, thank you. So how will the process of unlocking happen?
It is a common practice. It is not something special. Once their lockup period will be gone, right? For the first sale, it is 12 months. You will be able to move, to transfer, or to do with your tokens whatever you want. So after 12 months, you will be able to do any actions with your token because they will be unlocked.
Благодарю.
Okay, thank you. Let me check other questions. We have questions in the Kazakh language. No. Kenzhebay says, I wanted to clarify one thing about the unlocking. Lockup unlocking. So 100% of tokens can be transferred, withdrawn, and sold.
You'll be able to transfer, to move 100% of all of your assets.
And once again, I wanted to clarify regarding, for example, if in the back office cabinet, we haven't bought Soulbound tokens, we don't have an ID, can they convert their WCRUs in the new tokens that we'll have in the blockchain?
The Soulbound tokens, if you don't have the Soulbound ID, you'll be not able to participate in the STO of Evorich and Crypto Unit.
Thank you.
Вопрос такой, с какой даты
So the
будет
question is, from which date the 12 months period will start?
Their tokens.
Мгм. Рос, у
Okay.
нас есть
Ross, we have a question in English
в вопросах и ответах.
in the Q&A section.
Почитай, пожалуйста.
Could you please read them and answer them?
I see the
And
questions.
could you please
One second.
read those questions out loud
I will
first?
read out, no problem. I am not the member of Evorich community, but I want to buy this token in the second phase round. In which platform I will purchase this token? Okay, answering your question. First of all, if you want to participate in the second sale phase, you will miss a lot of benefits and you will have the price, as I mentioned, in 50% higher than now, right? But it is upon your decision. But the second sale will be agreed and will be available after and once we closed the first phase. And as I mentioned, the deadline for the first phase, it is still the 15th of February, so less than in a month. After that, we'll open and agree and open the second round with CoinSet and with Crypto Unit and Evorich community.
But where can they buy it if they're not an Evorich member? They cannot then.
They can buy in the CoinSet platform, but they need to have the referral person and referral link who will invite the person to be able to register in CoinSet platform. Because it is done through MLCI. Somebody inviting someone, right, to register.
Еще один вопрос меня
I have one more question. People asked me about it. So a person in their back office has their CRUs and WCRUs. Can they register a new account for CoinSet? So they shouldn't necessarily buy the tokens in their accounts of their previous accounts where they have CRUs and WCRUs.
Answer this question because I'm not aware about the different platforms and how their exact platforms of CoinSet or any other works, because I'm not involved in the development of these products. I am the co-founder of Stobox and SOULB ID. I know how our products works, right? So I'm sure that the CoinSet operational managers can answer this question about the nuances of a different platforms and the sending the tokens or some data through these platforms.
Спасибо.
Okay, thanks.
Also, I see the questions in English language, and I will read it out. The question, it is Moldova can participate and get the identificator. Yes, people from Moldova can register, can purchase the Soulbound community tokens that will be converted later to their SOULB ID. So the answer is yes. I don't see any more questions in English, so I answered all of them. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, guys. I see the messages. Thank you. Yep, thank you, guys.
Да, у нас тоже вроде как все вопросы закончились.
Yes, I think we have exhausted all the questions. Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure, honor seeing you, talking to you, and thank you for agreeing to coming to our webinar. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
yes, thank you very much, Ross. Quite a lot of things have become clear, And for all of us, this is something really new, but any 1,000 miles path starts from the first step. So when we're asking you to share, when we ask for riches, God gives us the tools that we need to learn to use to become rich. So thank you very much for this chance that gives an opportunity for all of us. It's like we have a second breath, you know, since you appeared in our community, that eventually our WCRU can get listed, even though we'll have to wait a little longer. But now we have even more faith that our cause is moving on and is drawing to its eventual realization and realization of our dreams. So thank you very much on behalf of all the partners from Kazakhstan and everyone listening to us right now. I think this is not the last webinar, and we'll be in touch, right?
Right. Thank you, Kenzhebay, for your support. Thank you, Kazakhstan, for the nice words, right? And of course, if you will see the need to the second webinar to answer additional questions or to more share our vision, I'm happy to. Thank you, Tatiana, for moderating and for inviting me. And please do not remember that Soulbound, it is as a class, it is a new trend. And I'm really glad that I shared this unique information to you, right? And it is currently upon your actions, what you will do with this information. So thank you a lot for the great question, by the way, and I wish all the best to you, to your families, and stay safe and stay good. Thank you.
Спасибо. Всего хорошего.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, take care.
Ну.
А мы продолжаем наш вебинар с вами и переходим к...
And we can continue our webinar. And now we're coming to the part of the business opportunities of MLCI. Today we learned about the new product that appeared in our community. And now we have time to think about it and to figure it out. Now, let's go to the next slide and let's take a look at what opportunities MLCI offers and what it all started with. So multi-level marketing is a project, well, let's say it's a business area that has more than 100 years. It has different names, like multi-level marketing is called network marketing. So the first company registered was Avon Company in 1886. Can you imagine? And this business model already proved its efficiency. It's a working model. And many people around the world became rich, became billionaires, thanks to this business model. The annual sales volumes in 2021 amounted to $186 billion, which is quite a huge sum of money. And of course, the health products are the leading category of direct sales. So what do you think? Who are the most successful people in that business? Men or women? Write us in the chat. Most of them, women, of course, and 74% of sales in MLM are women. Whereas the age of the most active, successful people is 35, 45 years old. There is one more industry, which is called crowdinvesting. If you run the research, you will see that there are at least 5 types of crowdfunding formats. It's a charitable model, non-financial reward model, the authorized capital raising, and others. But the oldest one is the charity one. In 1700s, Jonathan Swift was the first who used this crowd investing model, and he built his business for poor people and he created an Irish credit fund where money was given to those families who couldn't pay their bills. and their debts. The next one was Alexander Pope, who translated Greek poetry into English, and he also raised money to perform those tasks. Mozart, in 1784, tried to use the crowdfunding model for its product a second time. The first model wasn't successful, but the second time around was successful. He raised money to play 3 piano concerts, new piano concerts. In late 2022, it was predicted that the value of deals in crowd investing would amount to $5.67 billion. And you can check online whether those predictions came true or not. And if that industry showed its efficiency so well, imagine what will happen in 10, 20, 30 years. And what if we combine those two industries into one? We take multi-level marketing and crowd investing and combine it into something unique, singular. And that's what was done. A very interesting model was created, MLCI, Multi-Level Crowd Investing, which is the combination of multi-level marketing and crowd investing. And that's how our CEO put it all together. So he combined the elements of those two industries and created something unique, something one of a kind. And we're the first company that uses this model. We're the pioneers. And this model appeared in 2014. And since then, our total sales amounted to $282 million. For some, this money might seem a small amount, but you must agree that when you're a newcomer in the market, when you're the first to use this model, this is quite a considerable result. Our community numbers 1.7 million people, and we plan to become bigger. And of course, our mission is the new economic evolution of the world. And we would like to reach out to as many people as possible, more than 15% of the global population. We have clients and partners in our company from more than 146 countries of the world, and we speak in 8 languages. And I think Kenzhebay will take the word here and will tell you what makes our business model so attractive. And here, guys, I will bid you farewell. It will be in Russian from now on.
Как только сейчас сказал Женя и Рос, мы делаем историю. И обычно всегда кто-то в историю вляпывается, кто-то бежит рядом и кричит, куда этот катится мир, а кто-то эту историю творит. И я хочу сказать всем нашим партнерам, что действительно мы находимся в каком-то уникальном проекте, в таком, где мы творим историю. Ведь мы не раз говорили, и в первый раз мы говорили, что мы создаем первую в мире криптоакцию. И такого не было. И мы соответствуем названию тому, что мы эволюционируем. Потому что когда-то деньги были каменные, потом медные, золотые, потом бумажные. И сейчас вот мы все уже прекрасно понимаем, что деньги появились как в виде криптовалюты, и они находятся на блокчейне. Ну а сегодня, вот благодаря Рос и Жене, который сейчас рассказывал, мы узнаем, что и это уже вчерашний день. И я хочу всем нашим партнерам и всем, кто увидит эту информацию, сказать, что мы сейчас находимся у истоков чего-то нового, эволюционного момента, где мы можем стать первыми, которые узнают о том, что у нас должен быть обязательно паспорт для наших токенов, и что мы первыми создаем security токен, который будет обеспечен активами, которые есть у нас. И самая главная возможность – это то, что, узнав об этой информации, мы можем этим делиться. Ведь я сам являюсь профессиональным, занимаюсь сетевым маркетингом более 25 лет, и мне почему это нравится? Потому что человек буквально из ничего, обладая только просто информацией, может поделиться этой информацией и зарабатывать на этом деньги. Ведь сейчас век информации. Кто обладает информацией, тот управляет миром. И я хочу поздравить всех наших партнеров с тем, что мы сегодня получили обалденную информацию, которая дает возможность нам всем побольше узнать об этом. И сейчас мы можем об этом рассказывать друг другу и зарабатывать на этом неограниченные деньги. Ведь действительно блокчейн и цифровая экономика уже уверенно вошла в нашу жизнь. Сейчас вот нам говорили о паспорте, который будет наш. И смотрите, фотографии все перешли в цифровой формат. Все документы переходят в цифровой формат. И я сегодня утром ходил даже, мне нужно было на осмотр, и, знаете, нету медицинской карточки. Мне просто нужно было сказать свой ИИН, и мне сразу в компьютере узнали, с какими вопросами я пришел. То есть все документы переходят в блокчейн, в интернет. И мы этим должны нам просто необходимо этому научиться. И научившись этим, мы можем этим делиться со своим окружением. И в этом есть суть нашего многоуровневого краудинвестинга. Мы делимся своей информацией и зарабатываем на этом деньги. И самое главное, тот товар, который мы приобретаем и который мы предлагаем людям, он не имеет срока хранения или там, он не испортится. Чем больше он лежит, тем дороже он становится, несмотря на то, что сейчас идет криптозима или, как говорится, медвежий рынок, но мы знаем, что это временное явление. Просто это связано с непонятными сейчас происходящими вокруг в мире. Но в будущем мы все перейдем в цифровую экономику. Это однозначно. Я в этом уверен на все 1000%. Поэтому то, что мы сейчас делаем, это для меня очень интересно. Я мог бы, допустим, заниматься любым другим проектом и зарабатывать там очень большие деньги. Но не деньги сейчас важно. Важно, чтобы мы сейчас все научились именно узнать, что такое блокчейн, что такое криптобиржа, что такие токены, SOULB. Это тот же самый паспорт. И я хочу вам всем, партнерам, сказать, что мы сейчас обладаем в руках необыкновенным инструментом, и в умелых использовании этого инструмента мы все можем стать неограниченно финансово богатыми и свободными людьми. И в этом как раз-таки наш многоуровневый краудинвестинг, который дает возможность нам зарабатывать и самим узнавать все больше и больше. Если можно, следующий слайд. И я хочу сказать, что многоуровневый краудинвестинг – это, можно сказать, чудо 21 века. Ведь человек может работать везде, где находится, имея доступ в интернет. И он может здесь не только зарабатывать неограниченные деньги, он может сделать себе карьеру, стать президентом нашей компании. И вот у нас есть свой маркетинг-план, по которому у нас каждый партнер, любой партнер может новенький прийти, получить информацию, узнать, чем мы заняты, что мы предлагаем на рынке, тот бизнес, который, и сделать себя очень успешным человеком. Для начала, допустим, он партнер, и достаточно ему просто прийти. Даже я про себя могу сказать, что я пришел в 2015 году, я не вкладывал сюда деньги. Я просто зарегистрировался. Для этого не нужно было никаких денег. Регистрация у нас бесплатная до сих пор. И потом я просто начал делиться этой информацией с окружением. И на данный момент я достиг уровня вице-президента. Но любой из нас это может повторить. Тот человек, который имеет доступ в интернет и который маломальски может говорить. Поэтому стать здесь можно и агентом, и консультантом, и менеджером, и он может стать президентом. Поэтому я не буду четко, это вы сами узнаете. И следующий слайд, если можно. Я хочу сказать, что информация, которой мы с вами делимся, она очень ценная. Она не имеет цены, потому что это неограниченные возможности для тех, кто ищет возможность стать финансово грамотным и богатым человеком. Ну и о том, что вы будете не только финансово грамотны, в первую очередь главное, что вы будете духовно грамотными. вы будете обладать знаниями, которые не обладает 99% населения сейчас планеты. И знаете, в тот момент, когда закрываются очень многие заводы, фабрики, везде идет кризис. И именно наш кризис – это время перемен, где вы можете стать успешным, свободным, грамотным и счастливым человеком, осуществив свои мечты и оставив след в истории. Таня, ну, я думаю, что следующий ты, Самара, продолжишь.
Да, благодарю, Кенжебай. Смотрите, да, то есть давайте разберем 5 шагов, которые помогают стать профессионалом МКИ. Что такое профессионал МКИ? Любой бизнес начинается с того, что мы становимся стажерами, новичками в любом деле. И этот стажер не знает, что он не знает. Это называется бессознательная некомпетентность. Что это означает? Это означает, что когда мы на этапе стажера, мы являемся бессознательно некомпетентными. Мы мечтаем о чем-то, мы мечтаем как-то, мечтаем даже очень много. И каждый раз, когда вы мечтаете о доме, машине, вилле, яхте, например, о полете в космосе, вы не задумываетесь о методах реализации. И вот это является как раз-таки бессознательной некомпетенцией, потому что идет из бессознательного уровня мышления. Поэтому вы можете мечтать по-крупному. И это нормальный, обычный, стандартный этап. Мы все на нем находимся. И когда мы задаем вопрос, что самое главное в твоей жизни, вот как раз-таки здесь уже приходится немножечко задуматься. А следующим этапом уже получается сознательная некомпетентность. Это тоже стандартный, нормальный процесс эволюции, когда вы мечтаете, вот как Кенжебай сейчас показывал нам карьерный рост в компании, да, и многие говорят, о, я буду президентом, я хочу так много денег зарабатывать каждый месяц, каждый квартал, каждый год, я хочу машину, я хочу путешествовать и так далее. И когда мы окунаемся в бизнес и понимаем, что нужно учиться, здесь уже включается наше сознательное. И вот это сознательное говорит вам, что вы некомпетентны. И что нужно сделать? Здесь вы должны начинать собирать информацию о том, чтобы понимать, что, как, какие шаги нужно делать дальше. Нужно учиться, обучаться, и вы должны наполнять себя этой информацией. Затем уже переходим на третий этап, такой сознательная компетентность. И многие люди здесь делают провал, потому что сознание обращается к компетентности. Вы собрали информацию, сейчас понимаете, как это все работает. И все, что вам нужно сделать, это теперь практиковаться и тренироваться. Потому что без знания, вернее, знания без практики – это просто потеря времени. И этап сознательной компетентности можно преодолеть только тогда, когда ты практикуешься и еще раз практикуешься. Потому что ты должен стать совершенным, идеальным в том, чем ты занимаешься. Как минимум экспертом, потому что тогда мы уже видим в человеке, как говорится, читаем книгу и видим ее содержимое, а не обложку. И судим уже о человеке совсем по-другому. Когда вы учитесь впитывать информацию, практикуете, накапливаете свой опыт, у вас создаются свои подходы к завершению сделки, свои подходы с общения с людьми, свои методы знакомства, то, как можно начать беседу с незнакомцем. Только после этого вы становитесь лидером МКИ, потому что сейчас вы в состоянии вести. Вы создали свой собственный путь, свой собственный метод, и вы будете в состоянии уже обучать стажера, новичка, обучать, как стать ему лидером. И не только на основе своего опыта, который вы получили в этом бизнесе. Вы должны также обучаться у тех людей, которые, так сказать, на голову выше вас в карьерном росте, да? которые знают больше вас, для того, чтобы вы могли раздавать вот это что-то новое, что-то свежее, интересное для развития ваших партнеров. И поднимаясь таким образом по лестнице, развиваясь, вы становитесь одним из топ-лидеров. И уже там собираете информацию у тех, кто впереди вас. И не просто собираете, опять же, эту информацию, а учитесь, обучаетесь, тренируетесь, практикуетесь. И вот этот этап уже называется сознательная компетентность. И в то же время это опасный этап. Поскольку если вы не практикуетесь, не используете и не доходите до состояния совершенства, вы просто скатываетесь вниз. И, пожалуйста, следующий слайд. Что поможет нам как раз-таки совершать вот эти шаги для того, чтобы стать профессионалом? Узнавайте у новичков, у ваших партнеров, что они хотят, чего они хотят достичь, и помогайте им. Используйте маркетинговые материалы, приветственные наборы, корпоративные каналы, ссылки, чаты. Работайте с еженедельным графиком вебинаров и презентаций. На сегодняшний день вы можете все отслеживать как в чатах сообщества, так и в личном кабинете. Начните работать офлайн презентациями, проводить тренинги. Практикуйтесь, ведь именно с практикой у вас происходит опыт. Проводите обучение, тренинги по бизнесу, инвестициям, приглашайте партнеров на международные живые мероприятия. Кстати, с Кенджебаем вживую мы увиделись в Дубае, когда ездили в 2021 году в Дубай на ивенте компании. Хотя раньше мы виделись вот так вот именно онлайн, и вот знакомство уже более конкретно у нас произошло как раз-таки на живом мероприятии компании. Подумайте, какие навыки, какой опыт вы хотели бы привлечь в свою команду. Создавайте свои тренинги, создавайте свои материалы, которые вам помогают в работе, и дублицируйте их. Рассказывайте их вашим партнерам и помогайте. Практикуясь, опять же, делая практику, вы понимаете, какой инструмент работает у вас хорошо, который нужно еще подредактировать, подработать. Ведь чем больше опыта, тем больше и совершенства. Выберите регионы и страны, где вы хотите представлять своих новых партнеров, где вы хотите сами работать и развиваться. Выбирайте различные отрасли, чтобы создать широкую сеть предприимчивых людей. На данный момент компания у нас разносторонняя и достаточно инструментов для развития. И, наверное, на этом все. Кенджебай, мы рассказали ребятам о новом продукте, рассказали, как делать и строить бизнес МКИ. Может, ты что-то хочешь еще дополнить?
Я хочу поблагодарить тебя за то, что ты приготовила вот эти слайды. И получилось так, что я со своей стороны тоже хотел пригласить Роса и Женю на вебинар для Казахстана, а тут оказалось, что и Татьяна тоже хочет это. И мы решили объединиться и вместе создать сегодняшний вебинар. Поэтому огромное спасибо всем организаторам, всем переводчикам и всем, кто участвовал в этом вебинаре. Спасибо за вопросы ваши. И я хочу сказать, что моя любимая поговорка и пословица, или как, я говорю, что бедность не в том, что нету денег, а бедность в том, что мы не используем то, что у нас есть. А в данный момент я всегда говорю, что у нас есть в руках очень хороший инструмент. У нас есть бэк-офис в интернете. У нас есть сейчас такой продукт, security token, который действительно готов удивить весь мир, сделать сенсацию в мировом криптосообществе. Но люди об этом не знают. И покупая наши сейчас, и продвигая наши сейчас идентификаторы, и нашу возможность, мы все станем именно волшебниками, которые меняют свою жизнь, меняют свое окружение. Мы меняем этот мир. Поэтому я хочу сказать, используйте этот шанс. Будьте счастливы, будьте с нами. Продолжайте верить в нас. Я верю, что мы делаем очень хорошее дело. И как у нас в Казахстане говорят, что караван выравнивается в пути, я очень рад тому, что мы, имея свою мечту, все-таки встретили профессионалов, которые сегодня выступали перед вами. И в дальнейшем я уверен, что мы выровняемся. И как у нас еще в Казахстане говорят, если ты увидел вершину горы, то ты сможешь уже до нее дойти. Поэтому всем удачи, всех с Новым годом, с новым счастьем, с новыми возможностями. Всем огромное спасибо, я вас люблю, мы вас любим и благодарим за то, что вы вместе с нами.
Огромная всем благодарность, да, и организаторам, и
Пока-пока.
всем всего доброго.